Title: A Day Beneath the Sun. Surviving Ancient Egypt. Introduction. Let the sand settle, close your eyes, and let the hush of the desert wrap around you like linen in the breeze. You are safe now. Let the noise of the modern world fall away. The buzzing phones, the glowing screens, the restless demands. They no longer exist. Not here, not tonight. Instead, imagine yourself surrounded by silence, ancient and golden. You are in Egypt, but not the Egypt of travel books and documentaries, not the postcard pyramids or souvenir stalls. You are in a different Egypt, one alive with the rustle of reeds, the distant chant of priests, and the rhythm of footsteps pressed into warm, sun-baked earth. It is the 14th century before Christ. The land is known as Kemet, the Black Land, named for the rich, dark soil that follows the Nile like a ribbon of life through an ocean of sand. The river is the heartbeat. The sun is the taskmaster. The gods are always watching. And tonight, you will walk in the sandals of someone who lived then. Not a ruler, not a general, but a humble villager. A soul among millions. One who worked and dreamed beneath the same stars we see today. You will rise with the sun, labor beneath it, eat what little you can, and pray the gods see you through to nightfall. It will not be easy. But you are strong, stronger than you know. This is not just a story. This is a journey into the forgotten truth of the past. A day in ancient Egypt. A day of survival. A day beneath the sun. So let yourself drift. Feel the breeze carry you beyond the sands of time, and let the past become your present. Part 1. Sunrise over the Nile. Let the golden sun warm your skin, and feel the sand settle under your bare feet. The first rays of the sun stretch across the eastern horizon, painting the pale sky with hues of apricot and dusty gold. The night's cool breath vanishes slowly, replaced by the dry, rising heat of a new Egyptian day. You stir gently on a mat of woven reeds, the thin linen sheet tangled around your legs. The air smells faintly of baked earth, charcoal smoke, and the Nile's distant breath. Crickets quiet their song as a rooster's crow cuts the silence. From beyond your mud brick walls, you hear the clatter of clay jars, the hushed voices of neighbors, and the splash of water being drawn from the well. You sit up, stretch your aching back, and glance around your single-room home. The low table holds a lump of barley bread left from yesterday, and near it, a battered jug of fermented beer, murky, sour, but safer than the water. You pour a small cup and sip slowly, feeling the warmth of the day already begin to rise. Your tunic, a simple linen wrap, hangs from a peg. You slip it over your shoulders, tying the sash loosely. The cloth is stiff with yesterday's sweat and dust, but it's all you have. Sand sticks to your feet as you step outside, blinking into the light. Around you, the village begins to wake. Women knead dough under awnings. Children chase goats along narrow alleys. A donkey brays in protest, pulling a laden cart down the earthen road. The scent of onions and smoke drifts from nearby hearths. In the distance, the Nile glimmers. Farmers are already walking toward it, hoes slung over their shoulders. The priest's temple is farther still, its white stone glowing softly in the early light. Papyrus reeds sway gently near the banks, and birds call overhead in lazy circles. You know your task today, hauling water to the fields, or perhaps helping stack limestone blocks for the granary repairs. Either way, it will be long and it will be hot. But for now, the morning is still kind. You breathe deeply, the dust, the life, the ancient rhythm of your land. The sun of Ra rises, and with it, so must you. You begin to walk, each step pressing gently into the dry, cracking earth, toward a day that has already begun. Part 2. The labor begins. The sun is no longer gentle. It climbs quickly now, like a god demanding tribute from every breath you take. The walk to the fields is slow and silent, broken only by the crunch of sandals on dry soil and the soft, rhythmic creaking of oxen carts. A dust cloud trails behind them as the beasts groan and plod forward, their ribs showing, their heads bowed like the laborers leading them. You pass the village shrine and touch the edge of its stone with reverence, whispering a brief prayer to Hapi, god of the Nile. You need his mercy today. There is little shade and less forgiveness. At the edge of the riverbank, the morning stillness begins to dissolve. Around you, dozens of others are already at work. Men and women lift heavy clay pots filled with river water, carrying them to the irrigation ditches. The water glistens like silver, but you know not to drink it. It carries parasites and waste and secrets whispered by crocodiles. You take your place among them. Your job today is to reinforce the levees before the next rise of the Nile. The silt is thick and clings to your ankles as you wade in knee-deep, stacking reeds and mud into the breach. The sun climbs higher, and with it, the heat deepens. By now, sweat pours freely down your back, turning dust to clay on your skin. The overseer shouts something in harsh tones. A boy beside you stumbles under the weight of a stone basket. Overseer does not care. He cracks the air with his cane and turns away. You work silently. There is no talking, no laughter, just the endless rhythm of toil. Bend, lift, stack, repeat. Your hands grow raw, your shoulders ache. By midday, the air shimmers in waves. Even the flies move slowly, dazed by the heat. A jug of sour beer is passed around, a token gesture, a mouthful each. The brew is thick and warm, but it helps. It always helps. You pause, wiping grit from your eyes. In the distance, you spot the white robes of a temple scribe. He glides like a ghost, untouched by dust, taking inventory from the shade of a fig tree. You wonder if he's ever lifted a stone in his life. Probably not, but you dare not linger too long on the thought. The overseer watches everyone. A whisper of wind rolls across the river, bringing with it the scent of blooming lotus and wet algae. It's a brief mercy, like the touch of a cool cloth to a fevered brow, but it passes quickly. And so, you return to the mud, to the wall, to the sun. Ra watches, unblinking. Still, you labor. Part 3. Bread and Grit. Midday in Kemet. The hour when even shadows retreat, and the air itself begins to hum with heat. The overseer finally calls a pause, barely enough time to draw breath. You stagger back from the water channels, hands caked in silt, arms trembling from repetition. All around you, others collapse onto upturned baskets or squat beneath the smallest hints of shade. A wall, a cart, even their own shadow. You sit on a warm, flat stone and open your cloth satchel. Inside is your midday meal, simple and unforgiving. 2 pieces of flat barley bread, dense and coarse, the color of dust. No butter, no herbs, no honey. Just bread and a small clay jar of onion broth that has gone lukewarm in the sun. You take a bite. Immediately, you feel the familiar crunch, not from seeds or spices, but from sand. Every grain in your teeth, a souvenir of the stone corn your family uses to grind flour. You chew slowly, letting your saliva soften the bite, ignoring the sting in your gums. Everyone else is doing the same. A laborer beside you mutters, "Bread of the desert, same as always." You nod. It fills the stomach, if not the spirit. You sip the onion broth, thin and sour. Someone else shares a bit of dried fish, brittle from the sun, but welcome all the same. Meat is rare, and this is likely the head or tail, but no one complains. In the harsh light of noon, anything edible is a gift. You wipe sweat from your brow with your tunic. The salt stings your eyes. Flies buzz incessantly around your food and face, daring you to shoo them. Even they are thirsty. In the distance, laughter. A scribe and 2 priests rest under an awning near the temple wall. Their meal, rich with dates, pomegranate seeds, fresh bread, and roast duck. Their plates shine, their bodies clean, their skin perfumed. You look away. A boy nearby coughs violently, his stomach empty, eyes yellowed. He has no lunch today. He hasn't for days. Stares at your last chunk of bread. You break it in half and hand him a piece without speaking. He nods. That's enough. Food is not pleasure here. It is survival, and survival is enough. The overseer's voice booms again. The break is over. You rise, still hungry, but used to it. Everyone is. You adjust your linen wrap, stretch your fingers, and return to the earth. The sun is higher now, okay? And the real labor is just beginning.
Part 5, Art, Ash, and Awakening. The years drift by, softly, like mist, rolling across the fields at dawn. And though the land has begun to heal, though the laughter of children can once again be heard in the lanes, and the hum of market life has returned in gentle ripples, something deep and unseen has changed forever. Not in the soil, not in the sky, but in the soul of the world. Because after such sorrow, the human spirit does not simply return to what it was. It must find a way to speak of what was lost, of what endured, and of what it means to be alive at all. And so, it begins to paint the language of the lost. You first notice it in the chapel, where the new frescoes show not only saints with halos, but skulls, bones, grim, dancing figures, holding hands with the living. They call it the Danse Macabre, the dance of death. At first, it frightens you. But then, you realize, it is not mocking. It is not cruel. It is truth. Death, once hidden and denied, is now painted in plain view, not to terrify, but to remind you that life is brief, that nothing is promised, and that every breath is a gift. You begin to see it everywhere. In the woven tapestries, where once only nobles stood proud, now ordinary people appear midwives, millers, children. In the carvings above the town gates, where instead of fierce lions, hourglasses and wilted roses now appear. In music, where the melodies hold sorrow and sweetness in equal measure, art is no longer just the domain of the church. It has become the voice of the people, your voice. And with it, the world begins to remember, not just what was lost, but how it felt to live through it. A new kind of memory. A merchant offers you a printed page one day, not handwritten by monks, but inked by machine. It holds a poem, a simple one, about grief and love, and a garden that grew wild after the plague. You read it slowly, lips barely moving, and when you reach the end, you feel something catch in your chest. Not sorrow, not joy, something in between. A feeling that doesn't have a name, but lives somewhere between the ashes and the light. You carry that poem with you for weeks, folded, softened by your touch, because in its quiet lines, you feel a reflection of yourself, of what you've seen, of what you've survived. You begin to realize this art, this poetry, this raw honesty carved into walls and stitched into cloth, it is healing the world in ways that grain and coin never could. Seeds of the future, the whispers grow louder now, that a new way of thinking is being born, that people in distant lands are studying stars, bones, machines, that ideas are blooming like spring wildflowers, uncontrolled, unstoppable. You do not know the word for it yet, but one day they will call it the Renaissance, and it will begin not in palaces or royal courts, but in small corners like yours, where quiet survivors stared at the sky and wondered, what now? The ashes of the old world are still there, but from them, from you, a brighter flame is rising, and the light it casts It reaches farther than you could ever imagine.
Part 6. A legacy in the quiet. The days pass like pages in a book now, slow and soft, but never silent. You are older. Your hands are worn and lined with the grooves of labor and time. Your hair, once dark and thick, now holds the gentle silver of passing years. But your eyes still shine with the quiet clarity of someone who has seen both endings and beginnings. You sit in the doorway of your home one evening, a cottage rebuilt with sturdier wood, with herbs in the window and a well nearby. You watch the sky shift into dusk. There is peace here, not perfection, not ease, but peace. The echoes of tomorrow, a child, your grandchild, perhaps runs barefoot across the path. They chase a dog. They laugh like sunlight. They do not know the sound of weeping bells. They've never seen a village emptied by silence, right? They've only heard the stories, told in gentle tones beside warm hearths, about a time when the world almost stopped, and how it began again, because you lived, because you chose to keep going, to learn, to question, to grow. They ask you questions sometimes. Did it really get that quiet? Were the priests afraid to? Is it true people thought the stars could help cure the sickness? You smile and nod slowly, not with sorrow, but with softness. You do not tell them everything. You let them believe, for now, that the world has always been as it is now, gentler, fairer, filled with color and sound, 'cause that, too, is a kind of legacy. Not just surviving tragedy, but protecting innocence, flame in the darkness. At night, you still light a candle before bed, not out of fear, but habit. The tiny flame dances. It reminds you of the faces you've lost, the love you held, the days that nearly broke you, but also of the moments that mended you, the soft touch of a friend's hand, the laughter that returned slowly, the first time you planted seeds and knew they were yours. You whisper a name or two, just for yourself, just to remember, 'cause though no statue may ever be built in your name, and no book may carry your story, you know something greater. You lived when others could not. You changed when others would not. You brought light into a world that had gone dark. The night takes you so now. Rest. Lay back beneath the quilt that smells faintly of lavender and dust. Let the hush of night settle over you, like a blanket woven from stars and memory. Feel the steady rhythm of your breath, slower now, deeper, like the calm waves of a far-off sea. You are safe, you are warm, you are home, and the world is better because you are in it. Let go now, drift softly. You've earned this peace. Good night, dear one, and dream well. Part 6. Under the stars of Ra. The sun has yielded to the night, but Egypt never truly sleeps. It only changes its rhythm. Climbing the ladder to your rooftop, you carry a woven mat beneath one arm and a thin cotton cloth over the other. Up here, the air is different, lighter, cooler. It moves again, spilled dry, feels like a gift placed on your shoulders by a quiet god. You spread the mat on the flat clay surface and lie down. Your back presses into the hardened surface, still warm from the day's heat. The aches from your shoulders, hips, and hands begin to settle, like silt sinking to the bottom of the Nile. A cat wanders along the edge of a nearby roof, silent and lean, eyes glowing gold in the moonlight. Above you, the sky unfurls like a painted canopy, infinite, unchanging, yet never the same. Stars blink into place one by one, just as they did for your father and his father before him. The same constellations, the same sacred forms. Orion, the mighty hunter, known to you as Sa, protector of pharaohs. The Milky Way, your people call it the celestial Nile, mirroring the sacred river that sustains your world. Here, you close your eyes briefly and listen. The soft clatter of pottery below, the gentle creak of a donkey cart passing in the distance, the muted hum of insects hidden in the reeds. A lullaby of labor's aftermath. You remember stories whispered to you as a child of Osiris, in the underworld of Mad and Balance, of the scales that would weigh your heart when your life was done. You wonder, just briefly, if your heart would be light enough, if the gods watched you today and found you just. But such thoughts dissolve in the breeze. Instead, your mind drifts. You imagine cool water drawn fresh from a clean well. You imagine grapes, figs, and honey laid out on golden plates. You imagine what it must be like to walk into the great halls of Karnak, not as a servant, but as a scribe or noble, robes white and perfumed, sandals clean, unburdened by the weight of stone and dust. And yet, even in these daydreams, you are still of the soil, still of the Nile. Your body sinks deeper into the mat. Your breathing slows. The linen cloth over you rises and falls, like the chest of the river goddess herself. Tomorrow, you will rise again. Tomorrow, you will carry and build and pray and endure, as your people have done for thousands of years. But tonight, you rest. Tonight, the stars above are your companions. The breeze is your lullaby, and the silence is your temple. Sleep now, child of Kemet. The gods are watching. And Ra will rise again. Epilogue echoes in the sand. Long after your eyes close, Egypt remembers. Time does not rush in this land. It flows, slow, wide, and eternal, like the Nile herself. Each sunrise, a ritual. Each footprint, a memory pressed into sun-baked earth. And though your day was hard and your hands were raw, sparred, you were part of something older than stone, older than script, older than kings. You are not a pharaoh. No statue will bear your likeness. You will not be buried in gold or sung of in temples. But you labored, you gave, you endured. And in that, you lived as millions did before you, humble, unseen, but never forgotten. The wind whispers across the dunes, stirring the dust like memory. Somewhere, a lotus flower opens to the moonlight. Somewhere, a crocodile slips into dark waters. And somewhere, a god listens. Sleep now, under the breath of ancient stars, safe in the rhythm of a world that never needed clocks to keep time, only sun and shadow. Rest, gentle traveler of the past, for you have survived the day. And in Egypt, that is enough.